Shields up, Ironbreakers. We're Khan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter, and today we're going to be talking about Kulve Taroth in Monster Hunter World. Before we begin though, I would like to mention that I have a bit of a personal update message at the end of this video, so if you guys are interested in that, please stay until the very end. Anyway, let's begin. I don't know if you guys are aware or not, but recently the Monster Hunter team has put out a survey so that people could give some feedback in the Iceborne demo that we've had about a week or so ago. In fact, it's relating to both of the demos that we've had, where they ask you questions about how you feel about the demo, what do you think could be improved in the game, and all of this stuff, which I think is a really good step to get community feedback. It is important, however, to mention that you shouldn't just base off game development off of community feedback, because a lot of the times communities will come together and say, oh, this thing is wrong or that thing is wrong, and you start wanting to please everyone, and then at the end of the day, you're not really going to be pleasing anyone. So it is important to get that feedback, but also it is important to take that feedback with a grain of salt. However, I would like to talk specifically about Kulve Taroth, because I feel that that is probably one of the things that I've seen the community talk about the most when it comes to this feedback form. There's one other thing that's been talked about, which is feedback on the weapon design, which I think is very valid, because a lot of the weapons in Monster Hunter World, when you compare them to previous entries of Monster Hunter, they're quite simply not as imaginative. Now, there are some fantastic weapons out there. As a matter of fact, I put out a tweet where I showed 3 of my favorite weapons. If you guys are curious what those are, from a design standpoint, that is. If you guys are curious what those are, it is, for instance, the Nergigante Sword and Shield, the final iteration, which looks like an axe. I think that looks really cool. The Rathalos Charge Blade, I also think looks friggin' phenomenal. And a bit of an oddball one, I think, for a lot of people, but it was the Kadachi Striker Gun Lance. And I mentioned specifically these 3 weapons because they're my 3 most played weapons in Monster Hunter World. But anyways, I just thought that the design on those weapons is really cool and really emphasizes some of the best stuff that we have in World. And I know that each person is going to have their own favorites or whatever, but that was a big topic of contention as well. But the other thing was definitely Kulve Taroth. And I think that a lot of people went in there saying, like, we don't want no more Kulve Taroth is terrible, and all of these other things. And it is important to put that into perspective, because I think that a majority of the community is actually likes Kulve Taroth, the encounter, as in we actually like going in there for the first time, beating the crap out of Kulve Taroth, farming her to get the armor and all of that stuff. The thing we don't like, or at least the thing that I don't like, and that I see a lot of people complain about, at least in my sphere of influence, most of the people that I interact with on Twitter and my live streams, in my comment section, most of the complaints that I see is the RNG nature of the rewards of Kulve Taroth, and not just the RNG nature, but the fact that on top of that RNG, Kulve Taroth drops some of the most powerful weapons in the game for most of the weapon types. Like you're talking about best elemental charge blade, Kulve Taroth. The only reason that the impact file charge blade it's still the best one. Like mathematically speaking, it is still the best the best impact file charge blade as well. She also drops that one. It's just the only thing that the regular Diablo's charge blade doesn't have is the additional defense, which is not really a deal breaker. But in a lot of other weapon categories, like you have a really good hammer on there, you have the best wide shelling gun lance that you can't actually craft them. You can't craft wide shelling gun lances with shelling level 4. And there's a bunch of more weapons that, quite simply, the best weapons come from Kulve Taroth. I just reminded myself, insect glaives, like all of the best insect glaives are in Kulve Taroth. All of the best dual blades are in Kulve Taroth, like these fast weapons with critical element and all of that stuff. And it's like, I think that is the thing that makes it really frustrating. And it's not even just the fact that, it drops all these things in RNG, even though that is a big problem. It's also the fact that you're forced into farming that monster repeatedly, like, because there's no other place that you can go to get these weapons. There's no choice. And I think that that is the biggest problem, because a lot of people sometimes complain about the RNG of decorations, but you eventually kind of get over the RNG of decorations, I feel like. At least most people, I feel like, do. Some people don't. Some people do get hung up on the RNG of decorations. And I understand, and I'm not saying that their concerns are not valid. They're definitely valid because, you know, it is at the end of the day RNG, and a lot of times it can take you a good long while to get some of the decorations that you want. Like in my case, it took forever for me to get 3 artillery decorations. And like me, there's probably people that have a lot of other stories. Like, I'll tell you what, I don't even have a Mind's Eye Jewel yet. After 1,300 hours playing this game, I don't even have a Mind's Eye Jewel yet. Then again, I don't really use Mind's Eye in a lot of my sets, so it's not really a big deal, but there is one decoration in the game that I still don't have it. But ultimately, what I'm trying to get at when it comes to the RNG of decorations is the fact that, yes, there is a lot of RNG there, but you're not locked into fighting the same monster over and over and over to try and get those decorations, because pretty much anything above, anything like tier 2 or above in the monster list, which is quite a lot of monsters, has a chance of giving you the best decorations. I believe with the changes, you can even get some really good decorations off of the tier 1 monsters as well. So basically, you can farm anything you want to get those decorations, whereas in order to get the Kulve Taroth weapons, you don't have a choice. You have to farm Kulve Taroth. And kind of funneling the community into that one monster does become a bit of a problem, because people are going to burn out. People are going to burn out real fast, because, you know, it's just like, well, I'm just farming this same monster over and over and over. I mean, even the footage that you're watching is probably going to be from one of my latest Monster Hunter World live streams. And we were already kind of sick of it, and we were only farming it for like, I don't know, 2-3 hours, something along those lines. And we didn't get anything. Like, I was trying to get some more insect claves for Kegarin, some more charge blades for Wada Nagashiks, and we couldn't get them. We just ended up not getting it. As a matter of fact, the raid ended up ending early because we messed up one of our attempts, because, you know, we're just like distracted at this point. We're just all just shooting this shit, not even paying attention to what we're hunting. And we kind of made a mistake, and we ended up not even killing her on the last attempt. We didn't even get rewarded for like the last 2 phases that we had done of Kulve Taroth, which again, that's our problem. It's not a big deal. But I guess that's the point that I'm trying to come across. And I'm actually curious what you guys think about that, which is, do you also not like Kulve Taroth as an encounter? Because I know that there's a lot of people that don't like encounters that demand, that are more multiplayer centric. And I understand that. I understand that some people either don't have a good internet connection, or quite simply they don't have friends that play the game and they don't want to hop onto a lobby full of randoms. I completely understand that. It's just, I just wish there were more choices in the game, as opposed to kind of like funneling you down a certain road, because I know that one of the things that a lot of people are going to complain as well is going to be the multiplayer nature of Behemoth. And I know that some of you are going to come out there into the comment section and say, oh, I soloed Behemoth. And it's like, yeah, but not everybody's going to have the patience to solo Behemoth. And you really shouldn't have to have that patience to solo Behemoth, because it's like, there should just be an alternative to the Behemoth set that could let players, you know, still have a meta comparable set that is not Behemoth for their personal playstyle, which, let's face it, Behemoth is like one of the ultimate metas in Monster Hunter World. And I'm not saying that, you know, the game is all about the meta. As a matter of fact, I might do a separate video on that topic later down the line. But it's just one of those things. I think that multiplayer only encounters are fine, so long as at least they don't, you know, so long as you don't have to necessarily do all of the multiplayer stuff to have the best stuff available. And again, I'm not against that being the case if that is the way that they want to take it, because, you know, for me, it's fairly easy to get a multiplayer team together to go do whatever the hell I want. I know that some people don't have that type of ease of use, which is why I tried to funnel people through the Discord and get more people to do Behemoth and all of these other encounters that require people to actually coordinate together. And I know that we've gotten a couple of groups done that way, and also farmed Kulve Taroth that way. But, you know, it's just one of those things. Eventually you do get to a point where people's schedule is going to get in the way. So I guess I'm rambling a little bit here, but ultimately the point here is this. I'm not against Kulve Taroth as an encounter. As a matter of fact, I thought it was a very refreshing encounter, something that actually not required, but could benefit from the collaboration of 16 players all in the same hub. I thought that was a really good move for Monster Hunter to have an encounter like that. I also understand the side of the people that can't engage in that type of content, and I hope that in the future Capcom considers that and gives these people like an alternative to the sets that you get from this multiplayer mode. It doesn't have to be as strong, let's put it like that, but at least needs to be like somewhat comparable. So it's like, if you can't do Kulve Taroth, for instance, here's this other set that is comparable in power to the set of Kulve Taroth, and maybe even excels in different situations, right? If you can't do Behemoth, here's this other set. But at the same time, don't stop doing some of these more interesting multiplayer focused encounters, because they are interesting to engage in. Just also keep in mind that the RNG nature of these rewards and forcing players to farm these encounters ad nauseum can become quite problematic. It is important for players to experience a wide breadth of monsters and a bunch of variety when it comes to monsters, as opposed to constantly fighting the same one until you're just burned out, which is what I think a lot of people did with Kulve Taroth, which is why Kulve Taroth gets this bad rep. It's not a bad encounter, it's just a bad reward system. And I know that there are players that say, oh, but I was able to get this and that. And it's like, look, there's people that are more lucky than others. I'm still missing some of the weapons that I want now that I've started working through Gunlance. It's like, hey, I finished, I got everything. And I was like, hey, I should do Gunlance now. Oh, now I need more Gunlances from Kulve Taroth. Great. But anyway, that is going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, do hit the like button. Thank you all very much for watching. And like I said, I do have a bit of a personal message, but please do leave me your comments about the Kulve Taroth situation, the Behemoth situation. Let me know how you guys think about that, so that we can get some interesting feedback there, so that the message that goes into those forums isn't just like, we hate Kulve Taroth, never do Kulve Taroth again, okay? Because I don't think that is the whole point. Now, the personal message that I had to bring for you guys is that I am going to be taking a bit of a break in the next couple of weeks or so. I'll probably be back close to the end of the month producing videos and whatnot, and I realize it's a bit of a long stretch of time, but it has been a while since I've taken like a reasonable break from YouTube. And it is important sometimes to distance yourself a little bit, and I need to spend some time with my family. And it is summertime, and there's also not a whole lot really happening that I'm super interested in right now in the industry, so I'm like, you know what, this is perfect. Now, the problem with that is I know for a fact that when I come back, things are going to be terrible because the YouTube's algorithm and all that bullshit, so I don't know what is going to happen. I really don't, but we'll see how that all plays out once I return. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that, yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware, and I didn't want to do like a separate video just talking about this stuff. Having said that, though, for the next 3 days or so, because I'm not leaving until a couple of days, I will be live streaming a little bit more actively over on Twitch, because I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I've been having a ton of fun with that, and I want to keep progressing in GU, because I never really got the G rank in GU yet, and so that is something that I want to do, and I will be live streaming it because it's not as stressful as thinking up topics to do videos and all this other stuff. There might still be a couple of videos before I actually leave for the holiday, but this is just my announcement to let you guys know what is going down. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your support, for hanging out on the channel. Hopefully I'll see you guys in about 2 weeks or so, if the algorithm allows me to. Otherwise I won't. But yeah, appreciate you all, love you all, have some good times, and stay strong. May your shields never break. Peace out.